Almost Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I can't believe this is the final Comic Should Smell Good of 2015, so we're going to give you an aromatic... Did I say that? An aromatic masterpiece of brand new comics, and let's kick it off with Morgan.
Sure, why not? Speaking of things that smell great, how about corpses? Everybody loves the smell of fresh corpses, right?
Absolutely. They smell awesome.
Bloodier the better.
Yeah, oh yeah. Speaking of bloody, Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service is bloody. It's bloody, it's smelly, it's on really, really nice paper, and it is huge. Dark Horse has been reprinting this series in big omnibus editions. It's like 3 volumes in one. The amazing story of a team of psychics who also happen to be broke. And they are recent graduates from a Buddhist college who have decided to start the not-so-typical business of delivering corpses. To where, you may ask? Wherever the corpses want to go. Of course, corpses don't really pay well, so it works out in strange ways, you know? But it's always a really fun ride, every case. And there's always like 20 cases in each book. It's awesome.
Very large. Wow.
Me?
Which will.
Yeah.
Black Canary. This is Black Canary number 6. This is the long-awaited big wrap-up of the first arc. I love this. It's probably one of my favorite of all the new DC books. Brendan Fletcher and Annie Wu put Dinah on. It's kind of an unusual thing. They put her on this rock and roll road trip. They made her actually the lead singer of a band called Black Canary. And she had to protect this kind of mystery child. She had these weird supernatural guys after her. And it was just a fun rock and roll kung fu road trip. Why not? And so this wraps it up and kind of sets things up for the next arc of Dinah. But a lot of fun. I love Annie Wu's art. One of the things they talked about when I talked with them at Emerald City Comic Con was that, like, this isn't the nice and pretty Dinah. This is kind of rough. Lots of band-aids ripped because she's just kicking so much butt in this comic when she's not rock and rolling. So there you go. Black Canary 6.
There you go. From the esteemed competition, Marvel bringing you the 4th volume of Jessica Jones, Alias. You have probably watched the TV show. This volume is probably like the entirety basis of the TV show. Is this one arc in here? But this is the payoff. You've been reading this. This is, her secret history, some as a superhero, and really just kind of what went down with the Purple Man behind closed doors. It's dirty. It's gritty. It's mean. This is the last one. It's finally here. We actually have 1 and 2 as well, which is kind of astounding because we haven't had more than 1 book of this in like a month. But if you didn't get it for Christmas, come in and buy it yourself.
And of all the laymen and women who don't read comics, I guess that's what they call them.
Okay.
Jessica Jones is the one thing they're like, so it turns out Jessica Jones is a comic book? And I said, yes. So come on in and get the backstory to go with the awesome TV show that you love from Netflix.
It's a lot of cool.
The big Marvel in giant like white text on red to include them into that?
Well, they kind of like, at first they thought it was just this kind of gritty kind of, crime thing. But then it's like, oh.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
That's right.
We are your gateway drug dealers to get into the entire world of comics.
That's right.
Can we say that? Are we going to get arrested?
I think we would have gotten arrested before with other
these
things
drugs
that
smell
were said.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, another Marvel book here, actually, featuring yet another one of their screen stars. This is Drax, number 2. From the pages of Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax the Destroyer has gotten bored, actually. All the other members of the Guardians, they've all gone off on their own little side stories, which you may or may not be able to read in their solo books, because, like, all of them have them now.
Right?
So he's like, okay, what do I do when everyone else is gone? I could kill Thanos. He has to get around to that sometime. I think he's done it like twice before at this point.
If that's on your to-do list.
Yeah, that is his to-do list, man. But this is actually written by wrestler/MMA fighter CM Punk, along with Cullen Bunn, because, Cullen Bunn can't keep his fingers out of everything.
No.
And drawn by the awesome Scott Hepburn, who is bringing a lot of energy to this book. This is one of the first things I've seen him draw all by himself without any other fill-in artists, and he has populated this book with all kinds of weird aliens that could really put, like, all the cantina and club scenes in the Star Wars movies to shame.
Yeah, no, that stuff's really gorgeous. It's really nice.
And now, James Bond, number 3. If you like Spectre, if you yearn for Ian Fleming's really dark, kind of really gritty James Bond, this is it. Warren Ellis, do I need to say anything else? Warren Ellis. Jason Masters. This is a brand new James Bond series from Dynamite Entertainment. And once again, very dark and gritty. James Bond is assigned to take down this drug trafficking operation out of Berlin. But of course, there's much more to the conspiracy there. It's a dark, violent Bond, Ian Fleming style as it should be done by Warren Ellis. Duh.
Right on.
Next.
Speaking of dark and violent, on the mysterious remote island known as the Pleasure District. And when you have an entire island that's the Pleasure District, like not even a small section of the island, you know there's trouble. And then you throw in the Yakuza, you throw in a deal gone wrong, and you throw in a woman who has been wronged in the worst way imaginable, which only leads me to think of Lady Snowblood, and lots of death, and female convict Scorpion, even more death. For those of you not familiar, women in prison movies usually end with women getting the horrible amount of revenge they deserve. And Hiroaki Samura, the guy who helmed Blade of the Immortal for like 15 years at this point, brings you his kind of version of it, except a lot more samurai and a lot more, faces kind of go in strange ways that I'm not even sure how they do that.
It's really impressive.
It is really impressive. If you've never read anything by Hiroaki Samura, this guy is one of the masters of the current, manga craft form. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. This is collects the first 2 volumes of the Japanese edition, all black and white, and it is already out of print. So if you want it, don't think about it, just buy it.
Alright, and something that I certainly don't have to think about before buying. This is the return of one of my all-time favorite series, something that got me through the dark days of middle school. Deadpool and Cable. Back then, it used to be called Cable and Deadpool, but seeing as how one of them has surpassed the other in popularity in the few years since it's been canceled,
And has his own movie coming up.
Yeah, I can forgive the retitling. But
They had to retitle all those trades too. They
Yeah,
had to put
I
it
know,
all
it's-
back out as
that is a
Deadpool
whole
and
thing.
Deadpool and Cable.
But this is Deadpool and Cable split second #1, which had been published in the last couple months, I think, as one of their Marvel's straight-to-digital comics. But this is reuniting the team of Fabian Nicieza and Riley Brown to sort of bring back the, I'd call it the lethal weapon of the Marvel Universe. You've got loose cannon wildcard Deadpool and definitely too old for this crap Cable. I mean, he's got a beard now. Like, he always had white hair and everything, but he's really showing his age.
Yeah, he is. He's just, yeah.
Yeah, but it really brings them back to what they do best, which is slaughtering Hydra goons and pointing guns at each other.
Right, there's heads that just go this way on page 1. Like, money already well worth it.
Let's keep the slicing and dicing going with the all-new Wolverine, X-23 Laura. She has stepped up to take over her foster father's legacy as the new Wolverine. Cool new adventures by Tom Taylor and David Lopez. And so she discovers she has several sisters. That's all part of this big kind of genetic corporate. And the company is Alchemax, which, if I'm not mistaken...
That's from the Spider-Man from 2099.
Spider-Man
Or, well, just 2099 in general.
2099.
Yeah.
So... How clever you are, Tom Taylor, to be setting all the stages for stuff that happens in 2099. But anyway, she meets all her sisters, and not only that, this has the Taskmaster, one of the coolest. Some people love or hate his costume. I think
It's so goofy.
It's,
It's
I think it's
awesome.
totally goofy and awesome.
But I think he's
yeah.
fascinating. He's an awesome character. I want him to get his own movie or be a villain in a Marvel movie, but he's in here. And I love David Lopez's art because back when Ryan Wood wrote the first X-Men without an adjective and Storm still had her long flowing hair, he's one of my favorite interpretations of Storm as from art. So anyway, so now he's drawing X-23, so there you go. A little side note there. Well, get me off this detour. Back to you.
All right. We're going to bring it back to Satan. I mean, Santa. No, Satan. It's definitely Satan. Santa's done. His day is over. Satan is now his time to reign. The end of the year, I've been foretold that Satan is going to come, and it will be brought to you by Eric Larson and Todd McFarlane.
Who better?
I guess, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, they have teamed up to bring you a totally style, old school 90s image throwback where they used to jam on each other's stuff, and you've just got plot, script, layouts, pencils, and inks by the two of them. And I haven't read Spawn in a little bit, and I've been really excited. The last issue was great, issue 250. Literally, Spawn went to hell, beat up everything in hell. Like, not messing around, like everything in hell just to tell the devil that he's like, well, I'm gonna beat you up next. And then guess what? This is the beginning of that. It's got giant, awesome, huge battle stuff. They brought back his sword that John Boy didn't use at all in the previous issues that he drew, which was freaking stupid. But sword, big sword. Yeah, big bunching, big Satan stuff. Yeah, if you need Satan in your life, and Spawn.
I don't know if I need either of those things, but all right. Gonna file this next one under things I didn't know were still coming out. This is Harley Quinn Power Girl number 6, the conclusion of the miniseries, which takes place in between the gutters of 2 panels in another series. It's Harley Quinn, man. Don't even question it. This has everyone's favorite Gotham badass teaming up with Power Girl, who's everyone's favorite wherever Power Girl lives. Is
she still in Metropolis?
I have no idea at this point. I thought she was on Earth 2 for a while.
Oh, you're right, actually.
But this also has Vartox, who may or may not be based on Sean Connery and Zardoz. There's been some debate on that matter, but he's pretty hairy and he wears about the same amount, so I'm going to say yes. This is written by the normal Harley Quinn team of Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray, and drawn by a few artists here. You got Stefan Roux, Elliot Fernandez, and actually Moritat has some art in here.
Oh yeah?
Along with a guy named Flaviano, who I've never heard of.
Flaviano.
But somebody got their afro cut in half on like the second page,
so
yeah,
that's rude.
Really, really sad. This looks great though. It's tons of fun. It's in space. It's got an homage cover here that you may recognize from a series which has been getting a bit of press lately. Just a bit.
Just a bit. I don't even know how I follow that up, but I will. Lazarus 21. So Greg Rucka is forgiven for having the break because he launched the awesome new series Black Magic, which number 3 is out this week with Nicholas Scott, kind of a supernatural cop. But he's back to bringing us the next chapter in Lazarus. This is the conclusion of the current volume called Poison. Lots of great stories set in a really cool future world where these a handful of families kind of rule the planet. And Forever is our hero, and she's a Lazarus. She's pretty much programmed to kill and serve her family. But now she's starting to, as the war escalates, and there's like lots of cool kind of Game of Thrones kind of scheming between the families, she has kind of like suffered, and like she may be able to break her program and have her own free will. And what is that going to mean to this great, because lots of sci-fi, lots of fun action, great drama, as only Greg Rucka can bring you with artist Michael Lark. So there you go.
Right.
And no more for you.
I'm done.
Casey doesn't have
I was cut
else.
off after the Satan. I'm sorry.
Thankfully, I have one last book that
We
is
said
so
to hell with
powerful. So powerful, we might not need to read anything else. This is Rowdy Roddy Piper, Monster Killer. Yes, Rowdy Roddy Piper,
Yes.
our dearly departed wrestler friend, also known as the Maniac, to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia viewers, has returned from the grave to fight monsters. I don't know why,
Because he's out of
but
gum.
he has. I'm pretty sure he's fighting the devil right here in a warehouse, full of boxes, of course, because what kind of action movie comic is it if the warehouse isn't just full of empty boxes?
It's true.
This is written actually by Ian Edgington, a pretty, like,
Whoa, dude.
big name writer
Some
these
British
days.
talent there.
Drawn by Cliff Richards. I feel like this was published a few years ago and has been
Yeah.
republished
Yeah.
to coincide with the man's death, but it could not come at a better time, honestly. He's been missing from our hearts, and here he is once again to kick ass and take names, chew bubblegum.
That's right.
A few of those
And
things.
fight the devil.
That's right.
My final book, if you've seen Star Wars The Force Awakens, you know that Chewbacca gives one of the most powerful performances of anyone in there. And it's awesome. And once upon a time this year at Emerald City Comic Con, I went to the Star Wars panel and I said, I want a Chewbacca series, even if it means nothing but grunts and groans and yells. And I doggone, I got it. And this is the 5th and final issue. This is a fun story of Chewbacca. It's kind of like, if you remember that Clint Eastwood movie Pale Rider, it's kind of that Western where stranger comes to town, helps kid from all these bad outlaws, and it's kind of escalated now. All the Empire's getting involved, but it's Chewbacca, the most awesome Wookieean hero of all Star Wars, and one of my favorite characters of all in all the Star Wars mythos. So Phil Noto and Jerry Dugan, you have delivered me a wonderful Star Wars present. Along with the movie is this great Chewbacca series, which wraps up. And what a way to wrap up 2015.
Right?
Thank Star Wars.
all
Wow.
very much for watching. Absolutely, we have more Star Wars comics than you could shake a stick at. You could probably wallpaper your house or maybe make a small doghouse out of the Star Wars comics. It's possible. But yeah, really, truly, we thank you all for watching us every week. It's very fun to do this, and you know, if we didn't have people watching it, well, we'd probably do it anyway. So the hell with you guys anyway. Sorry, but yeah, I guess that's about it. And from all of us here at Xanadu, we wish you a happy New Year, and be safe. Don't do anything too stupid, and if you do, just don't get caught. It's usually a good rule. All right, see you guys.